We're changing gears now because military suicides have increased again in 2023, and that's according to the latest statistics from the Defense Department. Now, what's behind this? We're bringing in Eric Leinhardt. He's a former combat controller and the founder of the First There Foundation, a nonprofit that helps veterans get back on their feet. Good morning, Eric. Good to have you this morning. Tell me more about the 2023 statistics. Were you surprised about these numbers?
It's a shame that suicide rates keep going up, but no, you figure you got young servicemen and women, and they have families. The economy's tough; they can't feed their kids, and excuse me. And in the military, a lot of people don't realize that whatever job you have in the military, if you don't like it or you're just not making enough money, most people can't go out and get a second job because you're a service member 24/7. So they're stuck. So I can just see the way the problem is just not going to change. And I hate to say it, but I think until it hits home for some of these politicians, they're never going to change this protocols that they have in place for suicide.
So tell me more. I'd love to go into a bit more detail about, I think, what you touched on, maybe like the lack of alternatives, because there's all these concerning numbers out there that show soldiers are 9 times more likely to die from suicide than at combat. And tell me more in detail what is behind this trend of rising suicide rates.
Yeah, just from what I know, there was a stat that I saw a while back that I think we've had more suicide deaths than combat deaths, right, from 21 years of fighting in Afghanistan. So again, it's a little bit of everything. It could be the economy, the way the new policies are in the military, the pay, just everything that affects civilians affects the military. But again, they just can't go out and quit their job in the military and go find another job, right? That's a big part of it, right? But then you have the stresses of the job, what they're expected to do. So we keep doing the same thing, and every year that these stats and these numbers are put up by the DoD, it's again, they force new posters and new programs, or they want to bring it to the forefront. But we keep doing the same thing, and nothing's changing. It's insanity.
Nothing's changes. And the Department of Veterans Affairs and the DoD have introduced measures to prevent suicide deaths. What are your thoughts on those? And do those numbers maybe mean that they fall short somewhere, or they're just missing something of what you were just mentioning?
Yeah, the VA is shorthanded, right? I mean, we've known that for a very long time. The influx of people leaving the military and joining the civilian world, the VA just can't handle that, and that's why they're outsourcing a lot of the patients. As far as what they're doing in the programs, they always put out hotlines, or they're doing a little bit more marketing to get people to call these suicide hotlines, or see a therapist, or get medications. But again, it's just the same thing over and over with just a different mask, right? A different poster. It's not addressing the problem. So I'm glad that President Trump elected RFK. He has some changes that he wants to make, and hopefully we can start treating it more at the core level. They could be due to stress, nutrition, in the meds. You get out of the military, and what do? They give you antidepressants, sleep medicine, and eventually those service members gain a tolerance for that. And then what do? They give them more and more. So you got a bunch of people walking around like zombies. It's not working, and they just will keep doing the same thing. And I don't know how these people don't get tired of handing out folded out flags to their family members, where I think it can't be fought against. We can think of something different to do. There's alternative medicines out there that can help. So we'll see what happens with that.
So you were just mentioning all these things that the measures that they keep taking, but it doesn't make a change. What are the measures that you would like to see?
Well, RFK, he said a few things when he came out there. But for example, you have alternative medicines like psychedelics, right? That's one of the things that RFK said. At First There Foundation, we're an unconventional nonprofit, and we've seen the results with particularly ayahuasca, which is a plant medicine that comes from the Peruvian jungle. And I had a teammate of mine that was on the brink of suicide. We treated him, and within the weekend, he was back to laughing. I mean, I've never seen this guy laugh, and in 48 hours, he's completely different. The human being, I'm not saying plant medicine is is the all into suicide prevention, but it's a big part of it. And I think Western medicine has its place. Alternative medicine, we're such a complex being that why wouldn't you have another tool in your toolbox for a person to become whole again? So I think we need to. I mean, and what's it going to cost us, right? If someone does something that's natural for you and it's going to reset the soul and help them heal and get rid of their trauma, I'm sure their family members would be happy that they tried this new medicine or this medicine's been around forever to to get their family member to be
Right.
whole again.
So, since we just have a minute or so left, let me touch on this as well because I think it's important to put the word out there. What are some resources that veterans can turn to right now? Could you share what's available to them and also what you're doing?
Sure. Well, there's the suicide hotline, right? They got the VA. I would say for a lot of these guys and women, they clam up, they isolate themselves. They don't want to share their problems because they don't want to be a burden to their teammates or to their comrades. And in talking, I mean, helps tremendously. We're at the First Air Foundation. We obviously I can't do it by myself, and we need the public's help to raise money so we can keep treating these people. We have a program called Operation Soul Rescue that deals with plant medicine, and I mean, it's just the few people that we've treated. We've treated 23 this year with plant medicine, and the results are, I mean, the proof's in the pudding. They're walking amongst us, so it works. You know, it's pretty wild the way this great thing has just
Mm,
changed the lives of these people.
that's reassuring to hear. So, thank you so much, Eric Lionheart, for your work that you do and for your time this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
And if you or anyone you know who may be struggling and needing help, you can speak with someone today by calling or texting the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.